Cooper. Cooper with a great chance. Cooper must make it 4. He does.
The Full-Time Review Show is brought to you and supported, as always, by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And despite playing by the pool, Regional Business Development Manager Tom McMillan and Regional Director Steve Gibson enjoyed meeting all who attended the ICFA Forum and Exhibition in Saudi this past few days, all for Craig International. And welcome to Steadfast Scotland, manufacturers of high-integrity stud bolts and special fasteners, globally recognised as your market leader and solution provider for bespoke quality bolting and safety critical components. All of your support is very much appreciated. Thank you, guys. 12 without a win. It equals a club record. 4 points from a possible 36. 22 goals conceded in that time. Only 8 goals scored. It quite simply just gets worse and worse because it's not getting any better. This is what it means after the results over the past couple of days. So we stay in 4th place. We remain behind Dundee United. Rangers have pulled away from us, but that is the state of play as it stands. We are simply in limbo. How are you doing? A very warm welcome to the show. This is going to be a tough one because I have to be honest. I turned off at 2-0 and woke this morning to see it was 3-0. Andrew Budge and I are going to try and make some sense of last night. We're going to try and show you where we continually get it wrong and where we have to improve. And this is what I don't understand. If it's so blatantly obvious to a couple of muppets like Andrew and I, surely to God, this is so obviously, blatantly known to the management team and to the players. Last night, it was like watching a kids' football team trying to play a game of football. The passing is just beyond my comprehension. How can we not string 2, maybe 3, at best 4 passes together? Positive passes. Forget this square pass back, forward at the back, keeping possession. That's all fine. But where is the penetration? Where is the will? Where is the passion? Where is the desire? For me, there's absolutely none of it whatsoever. We were so passive last night, it was frightening. And they punished us. To lose 2 goals in injury time. Oh my God. So tonight's going to be a hard watch. Welcome along. I am very conscious that there's a lot of you on tonight already. So let's get through all the bits and pieces first and foremost. I'll get Andrew on. We'll go through that so then you guys can react to it as well. So first and foremost, team news. So for the first time in a very, very long time, the manager didn't make any changes to the side whatsoever. So he's stuck with the same back 4, which I must admit I wasn't overly surprised about because that was kind of the team that I predicted. So I thought Nicky would start because I felt that we just needed his level of experience in there. Ante and Shinza played alongside each other. Toppy on one side, Leighton through the middle, Yeppe on the other, and then Kevin Nisbet obviously played as the lone striker. So that was the same team. I'm expecting many changes for the Elgin game on Saturday. Match stats, 58.5% of possession to them, 41.5% to us. Look at the difference in shots. 29 to our 6. They had 11 on target to our 2. I put the total crosses in here because, again, I think it's showing significant figures. So they put in 24 crosses in the game. We put in 11, which I just don't think is enough. And if you look at the touches in the opposite box, they're 42 to our 11. 11 touches in the box, which was down from the weekend's game as well. Okay, I know it's a more difficult venue, I get that. But it's just by looking at this data, it's quite obvious to all of us where our issues are. When Shinza put that ball in the box and Kevin was just an inch away from it, we should have been doing that all night long. Because you saw the boy mistimed the jump, there was nobody matching Kevin Nisbet's run, it fell into dead man's area, which was perfect for him. But we only did it once. And it should have been done an awful lot more. Our set pieces yesterday were woeful. Coming towards the end of the game, we had we started to sort of get a grip of the game. We had 2 quick corners in succession. And what do? Put them right on top of the goalkeeper's head. It's just... Oh, dearie, dearie me. Right, I'm going to get Andrew on. So what we discuss is how poor we were in possession and how poor we were with our distribution. That was the main topics. So take a look. It's nearly 10 minutes long because we had a lot to discuss, but I really hope it makes a lot of sense. Andrew Budge. Hi Andrew, thanks as always for jumping on. Honestly, I don't know where to begin with this. We've got a lot to discuss, but before we do, tell us your general thoughts on our play last night.
Yeah, I thought it was a really poor performance, to be honest. I don't think it was for a lack of effort on the players' part. It was just a real stark lack of quality throughout the team. I thought we were really careless in possession, which we have been for quite a number of weeks. I think it was probably for the worst I've seen us in quite a long time in that regard, but that caused us issues again once more defensively and offensively. I thought the worst part of it is I thought Rangers were there for the taking. I didn't think they had a really high performance level. They got their early goal and really just kind of cruised for the rest of the game, and it was not even, but there were definitely, we could have got at them all so much more in the second half, and it was really quite a flat atmosphere. So it was just a real opportunity missed, I think, to be honest.
I must admit, I thought a 3-0 scoreline slightly flattered them overall.
Yeah. It's funny because you're one that's 1-0 for so much of the game. I do think they had quite a lot of chances, and Duham's pretty good again, but it's frustrating to come out of it with a 3-0 because it really doesn't, it's not good reading, is it? But yeah, a real opportunity missed.
Absolutely. Okay, fella, right, let's get into the analysis. So, first of all,
Yeah, there really were, from what we're showing up on the screen is, yeah, as you said, within the first 60 seconds, we're really overcommitted in this example. I think it's almost an example of some really good play. So Tobers has possession, pings a really good line breaking pass into the feet of Nisbet, who in this instance lays it off nicely to Shinnie. But the issue is he is really easily dispossessed. And what you can see on the far side of the pitch, we've got highlighted, is how far up James McGarry is. So I don't have a huge issue with him pushing forward, but I think maybe in the first minute we should maybe be a bit more conservative. What you can then see in highlighted in blue is Cherney's position, and he's just got acres of space. So what that eventually leads to within the first minute is a really good counter-attacking opportunity for Rangers. The breaking numbers, Heidi plays a really great ball over the top into Cherney's feet, and thankfully, McGarry does enough to get back and stop a cross or stop the shot. But as you said, it's warning signs within 1 minute. I don't think we need to be that open in the opening stages.
The issue for me with that example is that what I felt it did was it set our tone for the game. Because in terms of getting dispossessed of the football, but more importantly, how bad we were in possession of the football overall and how cheaply we gave it away. And again, we've got an example here of Palaversa, who I didn't think had his best game last night. But again, losing the ball cheaply is presenting opportunities for them to counter.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you hear Jimmy mention that so often in his post-match. He did again yesterday how vulnerable we were in transition, and that all of it stems from us losing possession in these really, really dangerous areas in the centre of the pitch. As you said, this time it's Palaversa. It's almost a carbon copy of the first example. You've got McGarry running forward. You've got actually lots of bodies running forward. You can see there Nisbet, Keskinen, Orkos all driving forward. And to lose the ball in the centre of the pitch there, it's just a suicide, really, because again, they're breaking in numbers, Rangers. McGarry's going to struggle to make up the distance. Again, Cherney's through practically one-on-one. We managed to stop his cross again in this instance. But yeah, as you said, we're wide open. And I thought a really good point that Yemi made as well was it sort of drains our players' batteries as well, having to run up and down the pitch like that. If we're committing men forward and losing possession, everyone's having to run back, and we're just completely draining the energy we have in the team. We've already got pretty limited squad at the moment with all the injuries. I really don't think we need to be doing this. So yeah, really frustrating.
I struggled to see where we were going to score a goal last night. And I appreciate that Kevin huffs and he puffs, but his all round general play at the moment, I don't think he's actually helping us. I think he's being a hindrance to us because, first and foremost, he's coming so deep and he's just not in the area of the park where we need him to be. And we've got some examples here of where he's actually causing us issues.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's definitely not where we want him to be playing, but the fact it's been sort of week in, week out now, we're seeing Nisbet come so deep with the real attacking threat being from the wingers.
Yeah,
I think it almost feels like now it's by instruction from Jimmy. So
yeah.
again, what we can see is he's got the ball again out wide, not really where we want him. It is a dangerous area. The threat is from Keskinen running in behind. It's actually a really good opportunity, and you can see I think just a really quite simple slip ball through there puts us in a really great goal scoring chance. I think Keskinen could easily go on for a shot on goal himself or try and cut it back into, I think it's Clarkson on the edge of the box.
Mm.
But in this instance, Nisbet does ignore him, kind of dallies on the ball a bit, attempts a really kind of half-hearted cross and gives the ball away. So yeah, again, we're not playing to his sort of skill sets. I think there's another example where he's on really out wide on the 50th minute. He actually does quite well to beat Hadji out wide, but the pass is just behind Clarkson. We're going back to some really basics and fundamentals. We're just not executing really simple passes, and we're so vulnerable then on transition. In this instance, a ball into Clarkson's feet. He can play it around the corner. I think it's Orkos there who can, or Keskin, I can't quite see. They're running through sort of out wide. Really good opportunity to sort of drive at Rangers. In this example, again, there's a number of players going forward. You can see Shinnie's busting a gut in the centre of the pitch. You've got Clarkson, you've got Orkos. We're really committing men forward, and to lose the ball again so cheaply with a pass behind your man, it's really disappointing.
Leighton Clarkson, for me, where I don't think he gets enough plaudits is that he makes very good runs. He
Yeah,
finds space. He becomes almost that extra player. The problem that I'm finding now is that his teammates are not delivering the ball to his feet. They're not finding him. They're not getting
yeah.
him the opportunity to be able to be penetrative in the final third. And again, we've got a perfect example here, and you can see Leighton's frustration with this. And I'm starting to worry that this is becoming a pattern in our game.
Yeah, I think passive is sort of perfect word to use to sum up our performance. I think this example summed up the evening from an attacking perspective. But yeah, to turn back there, he's got the full back for Rangers one-on-one. Just you think you'd want to drive at him, and just turning back is so passive. It's so negative.
Yeah.
It's a square ball, and you can see, as you said, the frustration from Clarkson. We've got a lot of players committed again. I think we're totally repeating ourselves in these examples, but it's so frustrating. We really are committing men forward. So it's not like we're not trying to exploit Rangers, but we're just not finding the players, as you said, and it's just more poor passing and decision making in the final third, which has just been a real frequent pattern for our performances recently,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
The passing overall in recent games has been absolutely woeful and it's frightening. Okay, Elgin in the Scottish Cup on Saturday. Um, I got to be honest. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have the fear. I genuinely have the fear. How do you feel?
Yeah. I think they will be licking their lips, to be honest, watching that and their recent performances. I think one positive would be we've got a lot of the new boys in, so it's more
Yeah.
minutes for them. I feel a little bit sorry for Ockles kind of being thrown in the deep end. I don't think he's
Mm.
played much at all since like November. Same with Tobers as well. I don't think they've played too many minutes, so it's more minutes under the belt for them. I thought a lot of them looked quite good in spells yesterday. Maybe not Ockles, but Tobers had some good flashes, and I thought Jensen looked really positive
Yeah.
when he came on. So
Yeah.
hopefully some big performances from them, and yeah, a nice routine victory, even just a victory. To be honest, we've kind of forgotten what it feels like to win a game of football.
I know
So
any
just a
type
victory
of
will do.
victory. I know any type of victory. But I keep thinking to myself, last night, two of their goals came from two of our errors. And if we can just eliminate these schoolboy errors, you know, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot all the time. If we can just eliminate this from our
Yeah,
game, at least we can try and take steps forward, right?
yeah, I know, absolutely. You can't really account for Nilsson sort of letting the ball run under his foot like professional footballers. You
Yeah,
just wouldn't expect that of them. But again, that's just a hallmark of our performances right now. These
yeah,
individual
certainly is.
errors.
Mate, it's great to see you as always. Thank you so much for jumping on and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you after the Elgin game.
Yeah. Cheers, Ali.
Thanks, mate. Ta-da.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. My thanks to Andrew as always. So this is what the boss said. We are too stressed when we have the ball. We lack the composure and the calmness with the ball. That's what happened tonight. We gave away too many transitions and played to their strengths. We tried to stay in the game. They had more shots, that was clear. But if we stay in the game until the end, then it's always an opportunity to get something. He finished off by saying, we have to stay focused on the long term and believe in what we're doing. We have some challenges right now. We have to do better. First and foremost, I am still 100% behind the manager. There's so many calls now, which I read online for the manager's head, which I'm just, I can't quite get my head around this. Look, I understand the frustration, I understand the annoyance and all that, but calling for the manager's head is just doing absolutely nothing. John Gordon, I want to read this to you. He put a really good post up on my Facebook account. I just want to read it to you. So, John, thanks for doing it if you're watching. He said, in 2019, Tallinn suffered a 9-game winless run at Elfsborg, and the following season he led them to a top-flight runners-up finish. In similar seasons, when Elfsborg went on an 11-game winless run in all competitions, including 2 in the UEFA Conference League, the following season he again led them to a runners-up finish. In both cases, the winless slump came during squad rebuilds, and the teams he moulded would go on to deliver success. The present squad have to realise very quickly that it's going to be his way or no way. John, thank you so much for that. What I will say about the lads last night is that despite the obvious issues, I felt we grew into the game, and at times I thought we actually looked all right. Considering, we've got 3 or 4 new players in who will need time. Tobas again, I thought, looked very composed. Ockles just needs time. He's not played any football. He's been thrown in. He just needs time. He needs time on the training field as well. Jensen looks great. Delighted that he's on board. And Alfie Dorrington, I thought, did absolutely fine when he came on, despite the error. And I still think that he will be a fantastic servant for us towards the end of the season as well. So overall, there are some positives to take from the game, but not many. Right. Let's get you on. Steve Williamson says, I think that Yimi needs to get his new signings up to speed as quickly as possible. We need to give Shinnie, Nielsen and Clarkson a rest for the Elgin game. Kaiser says, oh Mahid, I don't think it was possible, but we're actually worse than I thought. He says Nielsen needs to take the rest of the season off and come back refreshed for next season. 3-year deal for him? Can't see him lasting that long. Alan Nichols says passing was poor, decision making poor again. Haven't seen any improvement over the last few weeks. Elgin must be right up for this on Saturday. Barry Cole says, good evening, Dandies. Poor show last night. Can't see how we are getting out of this mess. But he said that we're apparently still in for a centre-back and a striker. And Uckles is not fit and should have started both games from the bench. There's definitely an argument to that. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, evening all. We played poor last night, made Sevco look good. We need to get wins on board and get out of this rut. We need more belief and have a go. Johnny Wilson says, Jimmy got his team selection badly wrong. Let's give Polvara and Youth a chance on Saturday. Also, we have defenders in now, so use them. And a prolific striker, please. Gavin Wilson says, thank goodness for Duhan. Jensen looks good, but what must he be thinking? Shinnie and Nielsen with some poor passing, slow or poor decision making. Neil Simpson says, spineless, gutless, 12 games now, we've fallen off a cliff. Even the players who used to make impact off a knout. But I'm a Dons fan till I die, and I will sing to the players last night with a passion. I thought the fans last night, again, absolutely magnificent. And the reception that the players received at the end, once again, absolutely tip my hat to every single one of you. Your support's incredible. Paul Donaldson says, not very many positives from that game at all, but good performance again from Duhan and McGarry, and I thought Alexander Jensen looked good when he came on. Barry Cole says, Nisbet coming deep due to zero service. Deck G says, good evening, Ali and Dandies. Terrible performance last night. Duhan kept the score down. Jensen looked a player. That will be good for us. On to Elgin now. Surely we can win there. Kaiser says that I can accept getting beat if we've given it a right go. Last night was like a training session for Sevco. Paul Donaldson says it seems obvious to just about everyone that Shinnie and Nielsen can't manage 2 games per week and they need to be used sparingly to conserve their energy. Neil's on, wishing everybody a good evening. Paul Hannon says, good evening, Ali, fellow dandies. It feels like Yimmy needs to stop playing his favourites and start playing those that deserve to start. Neil says, shambles. Total shambles. Alan S says, JT seems to have lost some confidence too. On winning run was making decisive substitutions often at half-time. Now they're later in the second half and not really having an impact. We will take any win at Elgin, he says. Gosh, there's so many of you on tonight. Wow. Bear with me. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these. These are so many messages. God, you're so unhappy tonight. Absolutely unbelievable. Paul Donaldson says, the way things are going just now, bottom 6 and being dragged into a scrap for the relegation playoff looks like a real possibility. Graham Gibbs says, what did JT see in the game against Hearts to think same starting 11 3 days later at Ibrox? Thank you, Kirsten. Feeling just fine. A wee bit better. Jason Campbell says, wish we would play with 2 up front and leave at least 1 player on the halfway line at corners. Richard Wilkinson's here. Hi, Richard. He said, need some specialist drilling for our mob. Red Army says, it will take time for the new guys to fit in, but Nielsen had a stinker. Andrew says, Shinnie and Nielsen were so disappointing last night, clearly lacked the legs. We need energy in the middle of the team. John Moore says, good evening all. Just seems a lot like deja vu at the moment. Lee Taylor says, what in God's name was that garbage last night? Absolutely schoolboy stuff. Couldn't make a pass. I've seen kids play better. Brian P says, gave the ball away far too easily. Playing out from the back cost us as well. John Moore says, our passing was beyond poor last night. Where do we go from here? Anyone who thinks Elgin won't be a test for us is naive. David Gold said, disappointing result. Thought we were much better when the subs came on. Tight game. Again, we lacked cutting edge. We conceded the 2 late ones due to our own pressing. Kirsten came back to say positives from last night were that Jensen looked like he will be a first-class signing for us, but last night we made them look better than what they are. When is it going to change? Staban Took, I think that's how you pronounce it, says a hard watch last night, questionable team selection. Shinnie and Nielsen need rested. Nisbet needs sent back down the road. More energy, drive and creativity needed in midfield and a new striker. Nicola Beaton is here. We finished with a stronger team than we started with. Make the changes, Jimmy. Brian P says we should have sat in and frustrated Rangers. We made it far too easy for them. Doug Smith said, sick of the after-match interviews, always the same drivel. Graham Barron is here. Evening, Ali, fellow dandies. I think the only positives, and I think the only shot at goal was Clarkson's effort from halfway. We need to stop playing out from the back. It gives me the fear every single time. Brian P says, where are the basic football skills? Passing and control, he's asking. Lee Taylor says, there are 160 people watching this live. We could make it an 11 out of us that would have put in a better performance than that last night. It's not even the result. We couldn't make a pass. It was so embarrassing. Passing was just, oh my God, it was so frustrating. Bruce Strother says, terrible performance last night. Passing was awful and attack non-existent. Very worrying. Andrew says, the team that finished the game should have been the team that started the game. John Grant's on. He says, we have so many players nowhere near their best and playing a Rangers team who are decent at home. If we can't pass to a teammate 10 yards away, we've no hope to actually get forward. Graham Gibbs says, I don't know what we're trying to do last night. Same as Hearts game, constantly giving the ball away under no pressure. Neil Sinclair said it could have been 6. Neil Strachan says, things can only get better, hopefully starting on Saturday. Angie says, how Ockles and Nielsen survived so long, I don't know. The errors were like what I've seen my kids under 12 teams do. Hayden says, need to do the basics, pass the ball to each other. It's embarrassing. The Lark 70 says, passive display, lacking any form of identity. Terry McDermott says, the over-reliance of Nielsen is starting to ring alarm bells. Intelligent football player, but has zero pace, and at his age, it appears to be an issue. David McLennan says, can't see us solving the toothless forward line in this window. I agree, mate. It's going to be really difficult. And John Bywalek, I think it is, said, this is a rebuild and manager will need time. He needs to see what he has, what he needs, and who has the right attitude. Terry McDermott came back to say, we have to stay the course. Signings are strong. Too many players have outlasted too many managers. Continue to change the player pool and build the team into Lean's vision. Susan Cowie just said, Jimmy said that when he took over, he would rebuild the team. He needs a couple of transfer windows and a striker in ASAP. George Barber says it might be a 3-year project, but we have to expect better. Skuska said, Jimmy just getting his players in. We need patience. He knows what we need. Defenders and a forward. It's a work in progress. Jason Campbell says, Keskinen annoys me. Even his general demeanour and facial expression annoys me. He's like a sulky teenager. Lewis Johnson makes an interesting point here. He's just throwing it out. He says, Ruby has been told he is free to leave, and McDonald has been told he won't be given a new contract. Mark Leslie says, I still blame Andrew Budge. Not won a game since you brought him on. Maybe I should send him on gardening leave. In fact, he will be in a couple of weeks for the St Mirren game. He won't be with us for the St Mirren game, so let's see what happens. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Graham Gibbs says, the worry is the constant errors are coming from different players. Thought dropping Ruby would help. Brian P says there's no vocal point up top to play the ball into and build the play. Duke and Nisbet have been poor. Graham Finlayter says, like players were playing in mud, couldn't keep the ball for more than 4 passes, no confidence. Season sadly getting away, and this horrific run doesn't look like ending. Brian P says, it's just so simple, isn't it? If you give the ball away too easily, you're in trouble. Graham Gibbs says, always thought Nisbet was a penalty box player. These clips show what a limited player he is. Passes are badly made and executed under no pressure. He was the same against Hearts. Yeah. Brian P again came back, said Rangers had too much time and space on the wings. George Ironside says, hi Ali, I don't believe Nielsen is suited to Scottish football. He needs too much time in possession. Mark Leslie says, see, a lot of people want us to change tactics, but if this is the way Yumi wants to play in the long run, I feel we need to bear with it, though this horrible patch, and learn to play the way he wants. Bruce Strother said, sad thing is Rangers look very average, shows how poor we were. So many of you saying, you know, that you're worried about the Elgin game. VK, thank you for that message. Thanks for that note. I'll take that into consideration. Thank you, fella. John Bleasdale, the 12-game run is bad enough, but I'm also hating fellow Dons fans turning on one another online. I get we're understandably frustrated, but let's cut out slating one another. Leave that to the old firm. Totally with you with that, John. Graham Gibbs says their second goal, a centre-back out on the wing, is given time to cross the ball to the back post, to the other centre-back. How could we not defend that better? Bruce Struthers thinks Nielsen is becoming a liability. But again, a lot of you praising Jensen. A lot of you, in fact. Right, guys, we've done just over half an hour, so I'm going to call it a night. But I would like to ask just one last thing of you before we go tonight. Don't forget to like the show if you've enjoyed it tonight. I know it's been a tough watch, I get that. Sorry it's not been the usual upbeat. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. We're still at about 78% of you who watch the show don't actually subscribe. And I'd be absolutely thrilled if you would please consider. It doesn't cost anything. It just means you're following the page. That's all it is. So yeah, I'd be absolutely delighted about that. So guys, look, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for the preview show ahead of the Elgin game. And yeah, we'll just go to the next day. That's all we can do. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for your contributions. Try and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Stand free.